As you can probably tell by the title of the video, we are in Pula, Croatia. We're going to spend a week exploring this town.
Join us as we explore the Istrian coastline
and discover what it's all about.
In this series, we're exploring the stunning Istrian coastline and beyond. We start in Pula, where ancient Roman monuments stand proudly by the sea, telling ancient stories of the past. Then it is time to slow down and soak up the sun on the wild, rocky beaches of Kamenjak National Park and the scenic shores of Verodella. We then head to Rovinj, a town that stole our hearts with narrow cobblestone streets, colorful buildings and unforgettable sunsets. But that's not all, as we venture deeper into the countryside to discover two picturesque hilltop towns, Motovun and Grozny. Places so charming they look like they were pulled from the pages of a fairy tale.
Okay, first things first. We are in the city center. We arrived not long ago. And it's late afternoon, so today we're taking it easy. We're just going to grab a cold drink and have some food later on. And tomorrow morning we're going to start. So we've got a week and yeah, we've got a lot of places to check out and walk around the city. I mean, it's beautiful. First impressions, incredible, amazing. So much history in this place. Really beautiful old buildings, and there's a lot of architecture here, a lot of history. It's like a proper place for me, because I like all this stuff. How's your Aperol?
It's very good. It just tastes perfect, just as it's supposed to be. Cold, very good, refreshing.
As we arrived in the late afternoon, we took it slow, just wandering the narrow streets of the old town, soaking in the atmosphere. We browsed a few shops, many of which were overflowing with local produce and handmade goods. We were invited to sample some of the local spirits, and of course, we couldn't say no to that. Alongside the drinks, we sampled other Istrian specialities like Ivor, which is a roast pepper spread, and truffle cheese. Everything felt earthy, rich in flavor and tied to the land. Even a drizzle of olive oil carried a surprising depth, peppery, fresh and very flavorful. You can feel the pride locals have in these products, and it's easy to see why. Feeling a bit tipsy from all that sampling, it was time for dinner. Pula has no shortage of nice cafes and restaurants, so you will be spoiled for choice. We made our way through the old town to Bistro Alighieri to try one of local specialities, black risotto. It is one of the most famous seafood dishes along the Croatian coast.
Okay, we're at Alighieri Bistro, and I'm gonna have mixed meat platter with potatoes, vegetables, and of course a beer. And you're gonna have a black risotto.
Yes, black risotto.
Came in highly recommended, so we're gonna give it a shot.
I'm just trying to decide on what to drink.
I am.
Half, huh?
Yes, well, I'm always ready.
Always ready.
Yes.
Ready on the food, just maybe just grab some simple drink.
Can I have the mixed meat platter?
Yes.
And a large star ramen. Okay. Thank you.
Cheers. Cheers.
Can't go wrong with a good old star ramen. So, first impressions of Pula. We spent a few hours walking around the town, and yeah, it's quite impressive. I did not expect it, and pleasantly surprised. It's definitely my kind of town. A lot of history, beautiful architecture, really good vibes here. Touristy, but not too overwhelming. Well, that ended up being a really large portion.
This literally costs 15 euros. It's on the menu as a starter, but please come here hungry, right? And don't order anything else, you'll be full up. And it's super delicious, so make sure you try.
So let's talk a little bit about Pula. Pula is the largest city on the Istrian Peninsula, sitting right on the southern tip, where rolling hills meet the Adriatic Sea. Pula is old, and I mean really old. People lived here for over 3,000 years. It was part of Roman Empire, Venetian Republic, Austro-Hungarian Empire, Yugoslavia, and finally independent Croatia. Now that's a lot of history for a small town, and you can feel it today in its architecture, food, and even languages spoken around town. Today Pula is known for its easygoing atmosphere and being a gateway to Istria's beaches and vineyards. There is a real depth to this place, a sense of story and history that's always close to the surface. Now, speaking of history, behind me is the Pula Arena, built in the 1st century AD by Emperor Vespasian. Now, it's the same guy who commissioned the Colosseum in Rome. Now, this arena was designed to hold 20,000 spectators. Now, that's huge for the city of this size. It just shows how Pula was important in the Roman Empire. It was a key port and a regional center. And it shows what's amazing about Pula Arena. It's not just its size, but its condition. It is one of the best, if not the best preserved Roman amphitheatre outside of Italy. Interestingly, it was almost taken apart in the Middle Ages. Parts of the arena were looted to build other buildings, but by the 13th century, laws were passed to protect it. Even Napoleon ordered for it to be protected when he passed through. The Pula Arena has survived earthquakes, wars, and centuries of change, and it still stands strong right in the heart of the city. If there's one place in Pula that connects past with present in a single view, this is it. Another important monument here in Pula is the Twin Gates, or Dvojna Vrata. Now, these date back to the 2nd and 3rd centuries AD and used to be one of the key access points into the fortified part of the town. Now, you can imagine Roman soldiers and citizens passing daily through these gates on the way to the temples, the Forum, and the markets. Wow. And next to the gates, you will find the remnants of the old city wall that used to surround the whole town. Now, only a small section of the original wall remains, but it kind of paints the picture how carefully the city was planned and protected. Right next to the Twin Gates is another very important gate, the Hercules Gate. Quite unassuming and easy just to walk by if you don't know what it is, but this is the oldest Roman structure in Pula, dating back to the 1st century BC. Now, just above the arch you can see the image of Hercules with his club. And why Hercules? Well, in ancient Roman times he was the symbol of strength and protection, so quite fitting for the entrance to the city. And also there is an inscription dedicated to 2 Roman officials who founded the colony of Pula. Well, this means that the gate marked the actual beginning of the Roman colony of Pula, not just a settlement. Pretty significant milestone. Just outside the old city wall stands the Arch of Sergii, a Roman triumphal arch built over 2,000 years ago to honor a military family that left a big mark on the city. The arch was built around 27 BC after a member of the Sergii family, Lucius Sergius Lepidus, fought in the Battle of Actium, the famous naval showdown when Octavian, later Emperor Augustus, defeated Mark Antony and Cleopatra. To celebrate his legacy and victory, his family commissioned this arch, and it's still here today. It originally marked the main gate into the Roman city. The actual gate, Porta Aurea or Golden Gate, is long gone, but the arch survived, and it's in pretty good shape. Interestingly, it was admired by more than just historians. A famous artist, Michelangelo, is said to have sketched it, and it has influenced many later European buildings. Not every Roman performance happened in the giant arenas like Pula Arena or Colosseum. Some were more intimate. And in Pula, you can still find the remains of one such place. A small Roman theatre. What's especially interesting is how this small Roman theatre was built into the natural slope of the hill. It's a smart use of the space and a common Roman technique. And it just shows how advanced Roman urban design really was. Now, it may not be as famous as Pula Arena, but the small Roman theatre gives a glimpse into the everyday cultural life of Roman Pula. I don't know, maybe I'm a real history buff geek, but I'm properly geeking out. It's crazy to think that I'm standing here where ancient Romans, probably 2,000 years ago, used to come and, you know, enjoy themselves watching theatre. It's incredible. What really stands out for me here in Pula is that you can get really close to these ancient monuments. They're not like gated or, you know, ticketed. You can just walk up to them and touch them and look at them up close. And walking through these narrow streets, you've got all these ancient and old buildings that I'm sure each and one of them has an interesting story. And some of those stories are gone forever, forgotten. Yeah, it's amazing.
Next, we're taking a look at one of the city's most serene and historically rich sites perched on a slight rise above Pula's old Roman Forum, the Convento San Francesco. Built in 1314, the Franciscan monastery and church stand as a beautiful example of early Gothic and Romanesque architecture. One of the highlights is the monastery cloister, a hidden gem often missed by casual tourists. Its peaceful arcades and large courtyard provide a contemplative space, and the nearby monastery rooms now house a small collection of religious art and stone inscriptions from antiquity and the medieval period. The Franciscans arrived in Pula during a period of economic decline and plague, establishing their monastery as a spiritual and charitable refuge. What sets Convento San Francesco apart is its unbroken spiritual continuity. While other historic churches in Pula became museums or fell into disrepair, the Franciscan convent remains an active place of worship. The monks here still tend to the building and its gardens, maintaining the atmosphere of quiet devotion that has defined the site for over 700 years. The church houses the remains of Blessed Otto, whose veneration continues here to this day. In a city filled with grand Roman monuments, Convento San Francesco offers a different kind of grandeur, one rooted not in imperial power, but in humility, faith, and enduring community presence.
Another great example of Roman heritage is this incredible mosaic, which was discovered after a bomb hit this building during the Second World War. It is in such a great condition, and you can see the Roman motifs geometric patterns and depiction of men fighting a bull. Yeah, very beautiful. Yeah, Pula keeps surprising. Oh, look at this beautiful tree. Wow, such a vibrant color. Amazing. Very nice. Right, we've already seen quite a few places today. We've got still a few to see that are on our list. And luckily, they're all nearby because we're staying right in the center. We're literally right in the middle and in the thick of it all. So, thanks to this lovely lady here who found this apartment, we don't have to walk too much, which is always nice in this scorching heat.
Oh, look, seagulls friends.
Yeah.
They came to say hello.
They're drinking.
Thirsty.
Yeah.
Hello. Hello. They're so friendly.
They're not afraid at all.
No. Socialized seagulls. Hey, friends.
Now, every Roman city had a forum. This is a central square where everything happened. Politics, religion, business, gossip, speeches, trials, you name it. Everything happened here. And in Pula, the Forum is still the beating heart of the old town, where 2,000 years of history just falls into the present day. Back in Roman times, the Forum was much larger. And it was lined with temples, statues, and other official buildings. Kind of a mix between the town hall and the marketplace. Now, today, only the Temple of Augustus still stands. The Temple of Augustus doesn't seem large or imposing at first glance, but once you know what it is and how long it's been here, it becomes something very special. Now, this temple was built between 2 BC and 14 AD, during the lifetime of Emperor Augustus, Rome's first emperor, which means this temple is over 2,000 years old. And it's not only still standing, but it's in pretty good shape. It's actually one of the best preserved temples outside of Italy. Its Corinthian columns and silhouettes survived invasions, earthquake, and even embalmed during the Second World War.
It was dedicated to Augustus and to Roma, the goddess and personification of the city of Rome. It was a symbol of loyalty to the empire, a kind of ancient propaganda in stone. After the fall of Rome, it went through a few different uses. It was turned into a church, later used for storage, and even a grain silo at one point. Today it houses a small lapidarium, a collection of Roman stone inscriptions and sculptures. In 1944, during World War II, the temple was hit by a bomb and almost completely destroyed. What you see today is a careful reconstruction using the original pieces that were recovered from the rubble.
And what's incredible is that you can walk right up to it and touch it, run your hand on the stone and look up at the same columns Roman citizens looked up centuries ago. Wow.
The surrounding buildings of the Forum are a mix of Venetian, medieval and Austro-Hungarian architecture, but underneath it all are the bones of Roman Pula. Just behind the Forum you enter the winding streets of the old town, a tangle of narrow alleyways, uneven stones and sun-faded shutters. It is not polished or overly restored. In fact, that's the part of the charm. It feels lived in and real. Wandering the old town, you will pass everything from tiny chapels and hidden courtyards to stylish cafes and restaurants. One of the most interesting things about this part of Pula is how many layers are visible. A Roman foundation here, a Venetian arch there, a communist-era wall just around the corner. It's all there, one era built on top of the last, like pages in a very thick book.
Another site demonstrating this layered historical significance is standing quietly near Pula's harbor, the Cathedral of the Assumption of the Blessed Virgin Mary. Now, it may not boast the grandeur of city's Roman monuments, but its layered history makes it Pula's one of the most fascinating landmarks. What appears today as a 5th century basilica is in fact nearly 2,000 years of architectural and spiritual evolution, a structure built, rebuilt and reshaped through the tides of empires, invasions and faith.
The site itself was sacred long before Christianity took root in the Roman Empire. Archaeological evidence suggests that Roman temple once stood here. By the 4th century, a Christian community had formed in Pula, and a modest oratory was erected. Over the centuries, the cathedral suffered damage from Venetian raids, Ottoman attacks, and earthquakes, leading to significant rebuilding. Its current bell tower, surprisingly detached from the main church, was added in the 17th century and built using stones taken from the Roman amphitheatre. The cathedral remains a working church and a vital link to the city's Christian heritage. It may lack the theatrical presence of Pula's ancient Roman sites, but within its weathered walls lies a deeper continuity, a quiet, enduring presence that has outlasted empires and still offers sanctuary today. Exploring the old town was an absolute pleasure, but it was time for a well-earned break. We treated ourselves to some ice cream, then headed back to the apartment to freshen up, change and get ready for dinner.
So we came to Jupiter Pizzeria and I'm gonna try Slavonska pizza, and she's having green tagliatelle with scampi and shrimp. And truffle, yeah.
Importantly, excited.
Okay, let's try the Slavonska pizza. So it has hot salami, some kind of a Eastern sausage, onions, hot peppers, cheese. Oh, very juicy. Very good.
So let's try this gorgeous dish. Honestly, it smells amazing. Honestly, can't wait. It's very creamy. You can straight away taste truffle. It's beautiful. If you love truffle, this is a must, right? First try, not lucky, right? I need to get some more. My God, look, look, look. I need to get the technique, okay? Wow. It's really good.
All right, we just had a lovely dinner at Jupiter Pizzeria. Highly recommended. It's a nice place. Now we have one more landmark to check out, and that is the Cathedral, or the Venetian fortress. So let's go and check it out.
Perched on a hilltop in the heart of Pula, the Venetian fortress was built in the early 17th century by, well, you guessed it, the Venetians, who ruled the region at that time. The fortress was designed to defend Pula from both land and sea attacks. Its star-shaped layout, thick stone walls, and bastions reflect the military architecture of the time and the strategic importance of Pula as a naval base.
So we made it to the citadel, and the ticket includes the Zero Strasse. The ticket costed us €7 per person. So we're gonna go down, check out the Zero Strasse, and then we'll come back after sunset and check out the panoramic view. Okay, here's the lift.
We actually have more to see. So Zero Strasse is below, and we have mezzanine, something else to see. So where shall we go first? Start on zero?
Yep.
Okay. See? Level 0, Zero Strasse, and level 1, mezzanine, some kind of gallery.
Hidden beneath the fortress lies Zero Strasse, a network of underground tunnels built during World War I.
Wow, look at this. Gigantic tunnels. Oh, this, you know what this reminds me?
Bukit Tinggi.
Oh yeah.
But this looks a bit better, right?
Oh my god, there's no end.
Originally constructed as shelter for civilians and military personnel, these corridors now serve as a unique historical attraction, offering a glimpse into the city's wartime past.
Yeah, this looks very similar to the Bukit Tinggi tunnels in Sumatra, Indonesia. And I'll link the video up here. These tunnels look a lot more, how shall we say it? A lot more maintained, yeah.
This is where Europe.
Bukit Tinggi tunnels were a lot more rough and dodgy looking.
We have Wi-Fi here, can you believe it?
Yeah. There's Wi-Fi. Oh, I think that's the end on this side.
Yeah.
I think we reached one of the exits.
Okay.
So we're gonna go back.
Yeah.
Okay, we came up to the mezzanine. The floor is wet, it's dripping water. Ooh, look at this.
It was now time to head back up to take a look at the panoramic views of the city and enjoy the sunset.
Right, here we are at the top of the castle. Let's go and see the beautiful view on the city. You can see familiar places. The Pula Arena, which we saw earlier today. Here we are on top of Pula. It's a lovely view actually from here. It's a lovely view on the arena and the harbour. Now, as we are waiting for the sunset, I'm going to tell you a little story. In the early October 1202, the Fourth Crusade began its journey from Venice. The organization of the Fourth Crusade was marred by the Crusaders' inability to pay the Venetians for building of the ships and organizing the transport to the Holy Land. And as Doge Enrico Dandolo demanded the payment under the threat that no one would leave Venice until the bill was settled, Crusaders dug deep into their pockets, but could only come up with 35,000 marks, far short of 85,000 that were due. Doge Dandolo was under the tremendous pressure from his people to resolve the situation. And he came up with an offer they could not refuse. About 137 kilometers as the crow flies south of Pula, and about 270 kilometers south of Venice lies the city of Zadar, or as it was known in those days, Zara. Now, the city has resisted Venetian control for some time, and it was a perfect opportunity to fix that. Doge proposed that the fleet would capture the city, and the spoils of that venture would offset the money that was due. Sounds simple enough, right? except for a few very crucial details. The city was Christian and under the jurisdiction of King Emiko of Hungary, who himself was a crusader, having taken up the cross for the Holy War not that long ago. Now, despite that, the siege went ahead, and on November 11, 1202, the fleet arrived at Zadar. The citizens of Zadar closed the gates and put crosses in the windows to indicate that they were Christian. They also offered to surrender the city if their lives and possessions were to be spared. There was a great division in the ranks of the Crusaders, as many didn't want to attack fellow Christians. However, the majority saw it as means to an end. Now, the siege was brutal, and the defenders put up a good fight. But due to the sheer number of Crusaders, the city fell on November 24th, and the sack of the city began. The Venetians imposed the supremacy over Trieste, Muggia and Pula, collecting tribute from these cities to fund their campaign. It was nothing personal, just business. Now, unfortunately, the sunset is going to be a little bit obstructed by these cranes and these towers and whatnot, so it's not going to be the most optimal view. So we're debating whether we should go down to the harbor and be closer to the water. What do you say?
I'm not sure. I'd love to see the colors of the sky, but I think we could also go and maybe grab a drink downstairs.
Grabbing drink downstairs seems like a good idea, because I'm super thirsty after that pizza. So maybe that's what we're gonna do.